Lloyd, Elendil, that is one of my favorite characters, by the way, in the show, is convinced that his son dead, and now he stands by his blind queen and must protect Numenor. How did you manage all of this?
How did I manage all of this? Well, I don't think he has managed all of this yet.
Okay.
I think where we find him at the beginning of season 2 is he's made a decision with Midiel to go to war, to follow Galadriel, and that has turned out very badly. They've lost the war. As you say, she's gone blind, and the king is now dead, but most importantly, he has lost Isildur. So the level of grief for him is overwhelming. And I think where we see him in season 2 is that he cannot feel anymore. There's nothing. He's numb with the loss. He can't open that floodgate because I think the feelings would be too much, and that's caused an extra tension with his daughter Eärien, who is moving to what he considers to be the wrong side of the political argument, the side represented by Kemen sitting next to me, and I think he's torn between his head and his heart, his love of his family and his daughter, and his love of his country and his sense of duty to Midiel. So I think he doesn't know which way to go, and it's a very confusing place for him, and he has to keep coming back to what his faith is, what his instinct is. But as we know, with instinct, that's not 100% certain what's instinct and what's just a reaction to life, which is irrational and perhaps not the right choice. So I think he's morally challenged throughout season 2, and it's a really exciting storyline to play because ultimately it'll be a choice between his faith and his life.
Leon, in Numenor, we will see two factions involved in a political conflict. How will Kemen be involved in that?
Kemen and Elendil are on opposite sides of the fence. You're interested in tradition, going back to the old ways of doing things, the foundational way of life in Numenor. And Kemen is on the side of progression, forging our own path. And both believe they're on the right side of history. And at this point in our story, it's hard to predict where things will go from here. But Kemen is pretty confident his way is the right way. I mean, they went off to war and it was a disaster. They've come back and everybody is hurting. I think he feels pretty certain that we have to forge our own path independent of elven ways of doing things. And he's going to fight to make that happen.
He's also a privileged kid that has it easy as far as...
Has he fallen into exactly the right place?
I mean, it's an awful phrase, Nepo baby, but I mean, it does kind of apply.
Some Nepo babies are so good.
I think Tolkien didn't know the phrase Nepo baby, but he knew it deeply.
If he did, it would be in there.
What was the biggest challenge for you in this new season?
Good question. I think, going back to what I was saying earlier, I think that the biggest challenge for me playing Elendil in this set of circumstances is how do I remain truthful to his sense of grief and loss, so that when he's dealing with so much feeling, how those interactions with other people, if I can find the truth of that situation. So to make sure that this is a fully rounded, fallible human being who, you can get sucked into the hero archetype of Elendil, but the hero isn't born, he has to be made, and he's made by making the wrong choices at some point. That's how he gains some wisdom. So that's what's fascinating about playing him. So the challenge is, can we shape him as a man that we recognise as fellow humans watching it, but also a man who we hope is going to take the right course, but it should never be certain that he's going to make the right decision, even if we know our Tolkien history. But also there's plenty of people age 11 like I was when I first read The Hobbit who'll be seeing this, who'll be introduced to Tolkien for the first time through Rings of Power, right? That's so there's a huge responsibility to the new viewer as well as the person who knows something of what might be coming.
And what about you, Leon? What about you?
I think this season sees Kemen move toward a new way of being in the world, and I think when I saw the arc, I was just hoping I could do it justice. All I was trying to do was go, can I get there in a way that feels logical, that is true to the themes, but is also true scene by scene, not play an idea, play like a real journey to get to this end point. It was an absolute privilege.
And can you punch and wield a sword at the same
No,
time?
not personally.
Right, okay. That's your biggest challenge.
No,
Yeah.
okay, no.